Hello and welcome to the Ilene Silverman Show. I'm your host Ilene, and on this week's program, our guests Chris Doering and Randy Batista discuss their trip to the Dominican Republic with the Keira Grace Foundation, and co-founder Dr. Eileen Lizardo tells us about the upcoming Share the Cure fundraiser. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Thanks for joining us for our program. On Saturday, March 3rd, you have the opportunity to be part of the Keira Grace Foundation's 7th annual fundraiser, bringing cancer treatment to children in the Dominican Republic. To tell us more, I'm pleased to introduce my guest, Chris Doering, former University of Florida and pro football wide receiver and University of Florida Athletic Hall of Fame inductee. And Chris, it's wonderful to have you here with us.
Thank you. What a pleasure to be here. Longtime Gainesville residents here together, so thanks for the opportunity to be here with you tonight.
Well, I appreciate it. And, tell us, we're talking about being from Gainesville and North Central Florida, and tell us a little about your family.
Well, my family, I was born here in Gainesville, and I've had an opportunity to marry a girl from Gainesville as well. So after my pro career, I've come back to Gainesville to make it our home. My kids go to school at PK Young, where their parents went to school. So really a lot of similarities, and a great community to be from, and a great community to raise kids, obviously, as you know as well.
Yes, I agree. It is a wonderful place. And you are doing something wonderful to be part of the Keira Grace Foundation. So kind of take us back a year and how you got involved with meeting Doctors Eileen and Michael Lizardo.
Well, you mentioned the 7th annual Keira Grace event. This was last year was the first time that I even heard of the group, and so I was happened upon chance. My wife was working as a director of development with the College of Medicine and had been working with the Lizardos with the foundation, and she invited me to go along. I was her N1 for the event last year, and obviously, when you hear the story about the Lizardos and you hear what they're doing in the developing nations, it's just something that you can't help but feel some attachment to. And I think I was immediately had some chemistry when I got to know Mike Lizardo a little bit, and fortunate enough to be included on a trip down to the Dominican Republic a couple of weeks back. So.
Really was inspiring.
Yeah, I mean, it really was inspiring because you hear about these places, and
but now you got to be there.
You don't have the experience of going down there and seeing it firsthand. And for me, to take the trip down to the Dominican Republic, see the type of country that it is, to see how far in so many ways behind they are where we are here in the United States, and see how fortunate we are to be born here as compared to some of those folks. It really shows just how special the Lizardos are for their work and trying to help these the folks in the Dominican Republic.
And for their care and compassion.
Yep.
And the event is Share the Cure, because basically through the foundation, they are sharing the cure here, developed in the United States, the cure we have for childhood cancer that is not available in the Dominican Republic. But why should we share the cure?
Well, I think you look at it, and kids are kids, whether you're born here in the United States or you're born in the Dominican Republic. They all like the similar things. They like to laugh, they like to have fun, they like to play ball, they like to play dolls. And to see these kids that are basically given a death sentence over there, I think the statistic was like 80% of the adolescents that are diagnosed with one of these forms of pediatric cancer end up dying. And here in the United States, it's about just the opposite, where only about 20% of those end up being fatal. And so clearly right now, as you mentioned, Share the Cure, there is a cure or a close to a cure with the types of treatments that we're able to have access here that they're not able to down there. So why should they not be able to be given a second chance at living simply because they were unfortunate enough to be born somewhere outside the United States?
Well said. And the statistics bear that out. You've mentioned some of them, but can you tell us a little more about that difference? Because a child here in the United States with childhood cancer will be treated, but there, as you've seen,
you will be treated here, and you'll be treated in very good conditions. Unfortunately, having to take the tour over there, I had the opportunity to see the hospital It's probably not anything that folks from the United States
No.
would feel comfortable going to. But these are folks that I had an opportunity to meet with who travel for hours and hours just to come and get their treatment, to be seen. I had an opportunity to see kids that had survived it all. I had seen kids that were going through the middle of it. So it just was a really unique opportunity for me. And the amazing part about it is that the cost for what we can do here locally to help the kids down there, we can help 10 kids for the price of one here in the United States. And it just goes to show you, obviously, some of the bureaucracy and the stuff that costs here that's not necessarily translated to other places. So I think that
it's a huge impact that you're having down there, that they are.
So many more people and impact so many more lives. Not that it's not great to keep our money within our own country, but
certainly
reaching out. We're fortunate here in the United States, having an opportunity to help others and do it at such a great a high level with really no more effort than what we would have to make here, and can affect so many more people's lives. It's just amazing.
Right. When you think back to those children that you were able to see, I know you weren't there, very long, but you looked into their eyes and you saw their faces and the smiles, and that had to make such a difference.
It did. I had an opportunity to play ball with these kids. We're throwing the ball around, talking about baseball. And obviously, I don't speak Spanish very well, unfortunately for me.
But it didn't matter.
No, Mike and Randy were great. They could interpret for me, but I had an opportunity to read Clifford the Big Red Dog in Spanish, which harkened back to my days in high school Spanish. But it was a really a fun event, and had an opportunity to just meet so many great kids over there.
Well said. We're going to take a quick break. Stay with us. We'll be right back.